Because when you are talking about circular means looking at the way nature is. Nature is circular. When you look at the sun rising, it rises from the east and sets in the west. But the same cycle still continue. Likewise, human being too. When we are born young, we will first of all you be a toddler. And after some time, you become an adolescent. Then you become an adult. Thereafter, you start, depreciating, going back to that where you started from. That is being a child, and that is nature. That is at that period too, you are going back to where you start from, and that's all what we have. The God has created everything. Plant and animal, they do that. And in a circular economy, what we are saying is that you want to put things in the way, perspective that God has created it, so that you will get economic benefit from it, but without depleting the nature. So when you deplete nature, you have adverse effects, and that's why you have climate change, you have degradation, you have people fighting, which are not irrational, which are irrational fighting. But assuming that we all understand what we mean by what God has done, how He has created it, we will not be struggling for that. So the sources in nature is already limited. Population is increasing, and as the population is increasing now, then you have competitions. But if this competition is not well managed, then there will be conflict, there will be problem, and there will be food insecurity, and there will be then poverty. Then at the end of the day, if care is not taken, it results to maybe people dying unnecessarily. So these are things that we need to sit down and then see, how do we now go back to how God has created it. God that has created it, He has put in a standard, and that standard is consistent. It's not left for us that is utilizing the resources to the nature, for us to be able to do it as God wants it, so that we'll be able to get the different from it. So that's everything about bioeconomy. Bioeconomy is that doing things the way God created it to get the economic value from it. And that's why we are talking about when you have a product out, you consume it, you get waste. But that waste is not something you throw out. You get value to it, and that waste can still be recycled back the way God created it. Like in biodiversity now, God created different people. We are different races. But the thing in there that God is looking at the advantage one has over the other. Assuming that we are able to manage it. As we said, resources is getting depleted. It was in the north that we have cattle, and then resources in the north is getting depleted more than what we have in the south. In terms of the resources that you think a cattle rather will have, is the grass. They need to feed their animal. Some people are saying that they need to, do some kinds of pastoralism. They have their own pasture where they go, but it's different from what we have in the developed country. I was talking about diversity. Diversity in the sense that the kind of cattle they have there is not what we have here. The cattle they have there, they are good converters of feeds. They can feed within a short area, and then they get converted to flesh, and they be doing fine. But down here, they are not good converters, and that's where you need a lot of resources, more especially the feed for them to cope with before they can grow, before they can thrive. So those people in the north that are rearing cattle, maybe you call them Fulani. Not only all of them, the cattle Fulani. There are some other, you see, sometimes it used to baffle me when they say that, the Fulanis are from the north, Hausas are from the north. We are getting misconception of it. Because when you go to Sokoto, and then you move a little bit down to Kebbi, where you have the Yauri, then you have the Zulus. When you call the Zulus and Yauri Hausa, they will tell you that they are not. That they are not Hausa, they are Zulu, they are Yauri. So what it means is that for them to have been there, they have reason why God put them there. And they have been living harmoniously before. Likewise, when you see the cattle people coming down, it's because their resources over there is depleted, and they are coming where you have good pasture. Look at the trough, Niger and Benue. I have moved from Kebbi to Taraba, driving, I myself, and then studying that valley bottom. The thing never dry, and there you have grass being produced all over the year. So if that a place is depleted, what do you expect the Fulani to do? They will come down to places like Niger State. They come to where you have this trough. They will come to Kogi. Then they will go to Benue. From Benue, they go to Taraba. That's why you have them there. All of them are competing for that scarce resource that is scarce.
Some people say that climate change is one of the factors that is causing the conflict between both farmers and herders. What's your thought about
Yeah,
this?
it's the climate change. You know what is the climate change? It's because we abuse nature. That's it. Assuming that we allow that bad services to stay as God has put it, we do not deplete the resources that God has created, then the nature will not change. What we mean by climate change is that you've depleted a resources within a specific place, and then God has put in such a way that where the environment he has created, this is the kind of thing that will be there. But if a factor is removed, you know, we economists, we always say cetera paribus, that is all things being equal. But if the things are not equal again, there is an error. And that's the reason why you see this Fulani coming down. Where the grass is depleted, they will come down to where there is grass to feed. And then why did we have that? Because their place already depleted. Trees have been felling. They fell tree. They remove all those biomass. The soil is not fertile. Every degradation is there. And that's why the nature is not equal again. All the other things that need to make that nature to be as God has created is there. And that's the reason why you have climate change. It has changed. But now those people over there will now start to compete. And that competition is that, oh, let me live where you have that. And then I come down to where I sustain myself. And that's why you have many of them around that Niger and Benue state feeding. Because that place is still conserved, not utilized. Really.
Well,
Before things can be unique and be replicated in another place, then you have the same resources at that place too. In the developed country, they have already made the program where they have pastures, where they can feed within a single place. But over there, we do not have that. Not that it cannot be done, it can be done if we well manage it. Another thing is the variety, vagaries of varieties. Animal over there, they don't travel much. They cannot, even they cannot walk maybe 10 kilometers. They are tired. They are worn out. But this animal we have here, they are very rugged. They can move around places and still feed. Not only that, in the over there, as I said, they have pasture. We do not have much pasture. And we are talking about climate change. The other places have been depleted. They have to come down. Then when you talk about resources, the resources that those in the developed country have, we do not have it. And that's the problem, that for us to say, oh, let us, isolate them, put them in one place, may not be able to work. What can make it to work is the kind of resources that they have over there. If you can give it to them here too, they also practice it. But moreover, there's no way you can keep nature. If the natures of those animals is for them to work, because by the time when they are working, that's why they get their own sustenance. Then if you tie them one place, it becomes another issues which we researchers have to work on. How do we solve that? So that even when they are working, if they are not working far, they will still be very good. So these are some of those things we need to take care.
so what will you recommend as solution to the problem?
Solution is integrated, really. Integrated in the sense that, first thing is this: can we bring those animals over there down here? Will they survive? That's the first question. And some of people have tried it. It's not working. I have seen people bringing dairy cows to Nigeria. They said they want to isolate them like they isolate in developed country, but they are not productive. Ask the question why? Because the environment that suitable to them have changed. But what we can do is the way I say integrated. When you bring exotic breed like that can be able to cope with the environment we have there, you can do some kind of research for crossbreeding. And that's why we talk about diversity. In our area, we don't destroy all our land races, because those land races still have genetic potential that they can use. So if they cannot get, you cannot get the character trait of those one in the developed country, and then you mix it to the one we have here, which we have, then maybe peradventure, then that can make them to be able to adapt to this environment. These are some of the issues. Think of it. Take those ones that we have here, take it to the other place, to those places in the developed country. You see that they will not develop. So these are the environmental factors and changes that affect this. So what you can do, you integrate. Allow them to move as they have been moving. Let there be crossbreeding, so that there be a synergy whereby they still have the characteristic trait that make them suitable for that environment. And then another thing, where by the time when you start to develop that over time, then All what you are saying will work, but it cannot be something you do within short period. Say let isolate them, let put them, give them pasture. It's good, but if you look at the other side, it will affect you silently. So that's why I said it should be an integrated solution. We want to get the thing done. So what I'm saying is that the advantage that God has given one is not what you have with the other person. But that does not mean that that person too will be deprived of what God has given the other person. But if we can sit down and look down, then we can be beneficiaries of all those things that God has given, even if we are not producing it. And that's what we talk about biodiversity. Diversity is to strengthen us. Diversity is to have multiple ideas. Diversity is to have vagaries of resources that even if you do not have, but somebody else has it, then you also can also benefit, and then it's now the advantage. And that's why I was talking about, this biodiversity. When you are talking about human values, in Nigeria we are different, but that does not mean that God is silly for bringing us together. But what we need to do now is that let's harness what God has given. If somebody is from the north, you have comparative advantage. Somebody is in the south has a comparative advantage. And if you can look at the circular economy, that comparative advantage that varies, two of us can be beneficiaries of it if you understand each other. And that's what we mean by circular economy. What you have that you want to throw out, somebody else is waiting for it to use it as a means of livelihood. Like in the cassava piece now, before they throw it away, in plantain piece, they throw that away. But now there are some people that are waiting for that piece to make as a livelihood. So if you want to throw it away, they catch it, they use it for their own livelihood, they get another product from it. Another person will now end product of that cassava piece, another person will still come and use it, and end product will come, then that's how the thing will circle back into the system, and then all of us will be beneficiary. So that's the advantage of when you are talking about biodiversity. Before, it has been linear. I produce, I utilize, I process, I utilize, and then I throw it away. But now we want it to be a circle one. What you are throwing away, let another person use it. Circle it back to where it started from. And then, so that's just a simple thing about bioeconomy.